Recording, okay. So welcome everyone to our first installment of Exploring Consciousness in the New Year 2021. And I'm just going to keep admitting people here. Thanks again for being here with us. And who thinks, who feels, who perceives this year totally different to last year? Yes, no?
Absolutely, yeah. I decided that before it, as it was approaching 2020. I think anything that you've done in 2020 that you're not too sure about, you can forgive yourself of, absolutely, because it's a strange year. But 2021, if it's going to be the same thing, people are going to have to apply themselves much more in many different areas of their life. And I know that's for myself.
That's pretty much along the lines what Laura and I just had a quick chat before we went on said too. There is a timeless quality to this year. That's what I've been perceiving. There's this almost like you don't want to say floating, but it feels a bit floating. This timeless quality and really this. I think there's a need for us to really banish time and really now understand that one of the key factors for this year, what I'm perceiving is you have to be in the moment, right? And I was looking at our last show, and we did grounding, and self-healing and self-mastery and everything, and that grounding, there is a different level to that now. There's a different level to spirituality. There's a different level to embodiment. And it's amazing that you can just feel it. It's not just a cognitive thing, right? It's like it was that time, Laura and I was saying, was the time between after Christmas into the new year. That's when something switched. How was that for you guys? What have you got on this one?
For me, I kind of went right back into old habit patterns just for a few days, and it was so destructive on my body, and then I had to have a recovery period, and that's sort of just put it all together, and where I'd been, knowing where I needed to be, but all year not being able to catch up to it, just in my day-to-day routine, all my disciplines like I usually do, just having them ticked without effort, but it was all such a chore. And then as solstice came, and then into Christmas, it just kind of got its worst. And then after that, I was able to just apply myself instantly. It wasn't even hard, it was just like I had to just get that over with, and now bang, then it was quick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Back on flow instantly. It's a very, very strange experience.
That was so similar to mine, Matty, and I think we had a chat at the time as well. And I've been saying to Martina before we came on, I had this huge wobble sort of before Christmas when I was going to go back to a relationship that isn't taking me forward, just to stay in the comfort zone. And I had this wobble really right up until Christmas. And then after Christmas, such a huge sort of flip of frequency, such a switch. And that all stopped. The wobble stopped. The wanting to seek my comfort zone stopped. It all became a focus on a new year, which to me suddenly seemed very exciting. And I'm not into the, obviously not into the light worker stuff that everything switches at solstice and suddenly everything's going to be great again. I'm not into that at all. And my solstice was not good. That was in the middle of my wobble. But as I say, that bit between Christmas and New Year that Martina was just talking about, there seemed to be very benevolent energies. And I felt if you really did the work, if you work with them, I suddenly got pulled much more into the mystical, and far from going from having dreams that were confusing, and quite frankly, some of them I was persecuted from the unseen world, and I had to, with Matty helped me as well, I had to really sort out my unseen world and the projections I was getting and so on. I sorted that out. And before, it felt in the old energies when you did that, yes, that was great, and you went back to sort of normality. I did that, and I went into the fairy realm in dreams, just a switch, just like that, just doing what I will consider straightforward bed protection, room protect, right down to the basic tools, which is another thing Martina and I were saying just now. It's about using all those tools we've learned, a shaman or whatever you want to call yourself, but suddenly using those is yielding greater results, and for me, more mysticism, more magicalness.
Yeah.
And you know, it was the same for me, Laura, with the dreams. And when I had my wobble, it was kind of at that bit where the dream world was going crazy. No,
Yeah.
and so I desperately wanted to sleep, and I was detoxing, and I desperately wanted to sleep, but for 3 or 4 days I couldn't. And all I was doing was going into dream world, and I was going into negative dreams, but I was always okay. You know, my dreaming body's, it can handle this stuff, and as soon as things get airy or whatever, then I'm out of there. But it was just constant awake, sleep, dream, awake, sleep, dream. It was just like that, and it went on for like 3 days. And there's one point where I didn't even want to close my eyes anymore, even though I was tired. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to stay here where I can just relax and do nothing, And so it's extremely strange, but I was always safe, always felt safe. I didn't feel in danger in any way, shape, or form. It was just intense, and it was all over all different scales, all different expressions. Yeah, it just takes one beautiful dream, though, doesn't it? Just one beautiful dream.
Yeah. It's almost like having one foot in the tangible world and one foot in the intangible world. Yeah. And finding that connection on the left eye, right eye, and then getting it together in the third eye, getting that new view going, And I don't know, I don't know who is part of this book club, Jamie, the dream thingy. Dancing the Dream. I had it read many years ago, and I just started reading it again, but I started from the back. And everything that I have been experiencing now is very much 6th, 7th path. So when you look at, if you have that book and look at that, and what I love about that one thing that she says, and we all know it, but it's almost like, I have written it down. It's almost like coming out of the void. Okay. So, and of course, look, back, forth all the time. But what if it feels like 2020 was the void in a way, and then now coming out of this void, almost like a descension process. A descension process where you start recognizing, yes, you are an infinite being. Yes, there is the great mystery out there. Everything is mystical, and it means nothing. Because if you haven't got, your boundaries, your sovereignty, your non-judgment, it's going to take you right back into it. And just like what Matty said, I mean, I had a situation, guys. Whoa! A bitch part came out. Oh my God. I didn't know she was still there. It was amazing. It was so bad that I couldn't remember if it's anything afterwards, but it almost felt like I was channeling her. My voice changed, yeah, which I was told afterwards, because I asked, I said, guys, what? It was awful in a way, but it's not about judgment. It's about recognizing one thing, that everything that we've ever done is still there. It's still there. And this is what comes now, this advanced responsibility. Because of the level of awareness that we have additional awareness everywhere. And this comes with additional level of responsibility. Now, what did I do? I had a couple of drinks, and there was one too many. Picked me out the body, and the bitch came in. And she was brutal, huh? She was brutal. Now, do I judge myself for it? No. But I had to really say, wow, I created that for what reason? The level of awareness. I cannot do what I used to do. Just can't do it anymore. And it's for everyone, it's something different. Did anyone have that wow thing? That
Absolutely. Absolutely, Martina. The imagery that I get when I think about this period we've just been through, it's like we just had a huge enema, seen and unseen. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like, everything's running all right, but you just needed one last flush to get that last bit out, and that's what it was. It was like this seen and unseen shit that just had to happen before we could move on and be healthy.
Yes. And also it was almost like saying, look, Snooky, I'm still here. I'm not going to go away. It's for you to not bring me forward. Because energy is we're not killing energy, right? We can't kill energy. It's always there. Everything is in the field. And this is why the focus is so tremendously important now with the level of awareness, because we have to step it up. Because the unseen bits, all our animate, are just going to be like, whoa, they're all here. And you're almost more aware of them now than you've ever been before, right? And just because we've healed them once doesn't mean that they go away.
So what is it with these unseen aspects of ourselves about this time of year when they creep back in? Because mine started to creep back in before Christmas, the martyr part of me that put somebody else before my actual own needs, my own happiness. And I've done a lot of work on that, and I thought I'd sort of dealt with that. And then is it the before Christmas emotion? Is it a lack of presence, lack of self-awareness? Is it the parasympathetic, getting out of control again, trying to get in charge? Not enough I amness in the body?
Do you know what, Laura? I think it's all of those things and more, and I think there comes a point where, you've reached a certain level in your journey where these things come up. As soon as they show themselves, aha, I can see you. For other people, it would just be, I've had emotional time and just go with it and roll with it and just, but for us, it's almost like, wow, yeah, I'm looking and I can see you. So in a way, it's a gift, I think. It just depends on how much actual personal work you have done and do to get to that point where these things arise and you can catch it and see it for what it is without then the parasympathetic and the sympathetic rolling off with it.
Tremendous gift. For me, the gift was, in earlier days, I would have judged myself for drinking too much, and I didn't even have that much, okay? Because the more awareness level, the higher you go with your energy, it's not going to take much, to knock you out. It was an invitation for me to say, what do you actually want? Do you want to be on that awareness journey, or do you want to do this? I think it is a invitation to look at our environment. What are we choosing? And that's the question. Whatever you're doing, the question really, and I'm going to throw out a couple of Access consciousness tools today, and you may or may not like those, because I think this is the time now where we have to use every single tool on a daily basis. And Access is a lot about questions. So really, whatever you do, whoever you're with, wherever you go, are you choosing this for you and as you? And that was the second thing, which I had the situation where tacit consent came through. Because tacit consent, we do in awareness or in unawareness, right? And it's almost like at this level of awareness, you are no longer getting away with tacitly consenting. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And for me, and I made a connection, which I didn't really make so much before. It is tacit consent. It is sacred neutral perspective, allowance, throw allowance into this one, and then being present. So what I've realized, and I'll give you the example, I lost my phone and I drove over it, or someone drove over it. And I looked at that and thought, what was that? I was completely ungrounded. I was not present at all. Okay. And yet I chose that because I thought, I'm just being in allowance and I'm going to do this now and it's okay. I'm in allowance. I'm sacred neutral. It's almost like I'm doing this now because I'm so sacred, neutral, and in allowance. And in reality, that was the lie that I bought. I bought the lie that sacred, neutral, and being in allowance works for me. In that particular case, what that was. And that's something to look at. I thought, be really, whatever you tacitly consent to, whatever you say, I'm in allowance of that, whatever, I repeat that now, it throws you out your body, because it means that you are choosing still something else over what you actually want.
Especially when you ask for it over and over again, Especially if we ask for these things over and over again, don't we? We ask for them over and over and over again. And then this is the thing with the communications that I have with my friends. And it's like, how many times have I asked them to come and do things with me, communicate with me, and I've realized all along it was just me that needed to just step up my gear. I needed to step up my game. They've been there the whole time. And so we make these prayers and we say we want to do this, we want to do that. But if you don't back it up with your actions, then you're just telling the universe you're not ready for it.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Andrea.
No, it's okay. All good.
And Andrea, off you go.
Okay. So anyways, I wanted to say thank you to Mary and Laura and Martina. Sorry. Very grateful. Very grateful to you guys. You have each given me a gift that I will cherish forever. It's not a gift of a physical gift, but an energetical gift. And Laura, I am very, very proud of you as well, because I know what you were talking about, and I know where you were and I was before. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of Martina and Mary, because obviously we connect very deeply and personally. And everything that happened last year and the years before and before, you know me, I take responsibility, I do my job. And the things that are happening this year is nothing short of miracles. That's I'm not upset, but it's like all coming at the realization of the creation and the manifestation and the miracles and everything else. And really what Martina said about stepping in to situations that are so potent and so it could be taxing on us, on our body, on our mind. And I on Sunday I stayed in bed, took responsibility, and everything is just evolved. Everything has just totally showed itself. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go out today. I go to the woods. There's nobody, there's no people, there is nobody, just me and my bubble, and we just go and do the meditations. What we did is a ceremony in the woods. We took whatever we wanted, plus the circle. I mean, it was very, very sacred. We did the sage and the fire, little thing I took. So it's like we didn't cause a fire, but just with that. And that all created. So when I went out today, everybody was miserable. Everybody was. I could feel the energy. I saw the entities. And I was like, okay, cool. So what happened is, I'm gonna tell you, this is the funniest thing. You're all gonna laugh at this. And this means 100% responsibility. I was walking, and I looked to my left, and there was like a bigger guy under a van. It was an Amazon van, I think, delivery driver. It was just under the car. And I took my headphones, I stopped, I took my headphones out and looked at him, and I said, look, everybody's got to be doing something, but he was struggling. The guy couldn't And he started to laugh, and I started to laugh, but so hard, I almost went on the floor with him. And I thought, this is it. This is it. This is when you are in the present. I wasn't laughing at him, but we were laughing together.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? And
I do know.
And it's like I said to him, you know, good luck. And we just burst out laughing. And I took my headphones back. He said to me, thank you. And I said, thank you. I put my headphones back and I just continued. And I just burst out and I was like singing, people looking at me. I said, look, I don't have a singing voice, but whatever. So if this is just you, the world is like falling apart. Like, imagine it's like bombs going off.
Andrea, would you say this is part of, I don't want to, you know, the veil is lifting, the separation is lifting, the compassion is coming through, the joyfulness, you know, in very simple moments. So, you know, just making that choice to actually have a laugh and yeah.
I've been watching stand-up comedy.
That was like a moment that I just thought, I wish this was like, it's like in a film, you know, like you don't expect it or anything, but it was just an incredible moment. I just thought,
thanks for sharing that. So I've written something down here, you know, because obviously we call this today the resolution evolution. And, you know, this is the beginning of the year and we used to do resolutions and stuff like that. And obviously with what's going on at the moment, I don't know if any one of you has done any resolutions, New Year's resolutions, or are we starting to go into a more evolutionary way of looking at resolutions, basically saying, this is unpredictable. And all I need to do, get out of my comfort zone, allow myself to get out of my comfort zone, because, you know, we're not creating in the comfort zone. Sacred neutrality does not create. We have to get out of it. And also the other thing is, there is nothing to fix.
Totally, Martina.
And Andrea, just hold on. Let's have other people also something. But you know, that fixing thing, it's I think resolutions are very often based on, I need to do this in order to fix something. What if there is nothing to fix? And this is where choice comes in. What if that is something I am choosing for me and as me? And I'm saying this again here because that is so important. Choosing for me and as me, because that is just joyful and fun.
You know, something's changed for me. I don't think I'm making a resolution. It didn't occur to me, but I've had IBS for probably 10 years or longer. And, you know, recently I was just sitting and sensing into the way it's shut me down, you know, the way I've agreed to, I don't know exactly what this is, but I do see that I've given up so many foods that I used to, that I was addicted to, especially sugar. Sugar, I had some child abuse in my early years, and the sugar felt like the sweetness that I was missing. And people would say that, and I would know that, but I couldn't stop it. And I couldn't curtail it. I needed it. And now I can see so clearly how it maintained a certain evolution for me, you know, because I was only willing to step to this place, and then I needed the sugar. I always had to have that. And what it feels like, it was almost the child abuse that was the trauma that was still stuck in me, was sugar. It was actually fucking sugar. And when I started to pull it out, which I've been doing. And I have stood for sugar my whole life. I've raged. I'm a baker. I love sugar. It is, you know, and now I'm able to see it's okay. It's all, I love it, but it's not for me, because it was a place where it was like a thing holding me down. And I can see now, as I am not eating sugar, and I'm meditating a lot more. I've started a Sam Harris meditation thing, which is really good. It's the headless stuff. You know, Douglas, you guys know him?
Yes.
Guy, yeah. So it's the headless guy.
Very good.
I fucking can see through, I almost see through the veil of sugar.
Douglas Harding.
Where it was holding me in a place, because I couldn't let go of that place somehow. And it just brilliant.
It sounds like the resistance is gone.
Something.
And as soon as we let go of that resistance that we have to, or we must, or we need to, that need, you know,
Yeah.
everything else almost just becomes a choice.
And this is the fruits of your journey. This is the rewards that you get from doing your meditations, from sticking with it, even if you fail and try again and fail and try again. Just that process alone, that's where you get these gifts. And these,
You know, I did a fire for the solstice, and it was absolute disaster. I couldn't get it to light. It was snow out there. I was climbing in the snow. It was hurting my back, my knees, everything. And I finally went and got a Duraflame. It wouldn't light, and I just sat there and praying, you know. Light came. It was so beautiful. A couple of times, this incredible light. And I was like, oh, you know, I didn't pray long enough. Or it was all this. And I just said, no, I love myself. This is suffering. You're standing here, you're in the fire of suffering. This is suffering. And I just loved myself with it. And when I came inside, it was so beautiful. That fire began to create these flames of color in the dark. It started in the afternoon, and in the dark, these incredible colors coming out of it. And I only saw it for a few moments, but I felt what a blessing. It was just, and that night I became incredibly ill, and I was very sick for 3 or 4 days. Very sick. I almost thought I had to go to the hospital, but I made it through. But it felt like a passage, a very thin place that I had to go through.
Sounds like we've all been through the similar sort of experiences, of course, unique to ourselves, but it seems like everybody's got exactly a similar process going on here. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful, you guys.
And I love that everyone's come out with this non-judgment, you know, loving yourself, not judging it, just going with that flow. I think this is the energy, isn't it? Going with.
I heard this woman, I don't know, you guys know Kristen Neff. You know her? She has a thing called self-compassion. It's just about, you know, being, and for me, this is me reconnecting with that inner child part that's been so injured and traumatized, and that I've said, no, not you, I'm really busy. And now she's fully, you know, I just feel so fully connected to any pain, any suffering in my body. I just love, you belong, you know, you belong. Wow, you're okay just as you are. I love you just as you are. You don't have to change. And that's huge. You guys, I think you were all with me the whole time. I felt every one of you just so present with me. So I just want to thank you for that.
Dawn, have you ever done colonics?
Yeah, I did. I have done one.
Keep going with it, man.
Yeah.
Let's look at judgment a little bit. Because, you know, it has so many different faces, so many different masks. So what is a judgment for you in terms of, to give you an example, obviously, as soon as you go into a conclusion, you're judging something better or worse, yes, than something else. So judgments are also positive, and they also bite you in the ass. So even if you say, you know, if you keep on, I always use that example, you know, it's like, oh, I like guys with blonde and blue eyes. that is such a conclusion that takes you out of infinite possibility. Anything that takes you out of infinite possibility
Is a limitation.
is a limitation. So what other limitations have you come across that we have to start at that level of awareness now? We have to start looking out for.
I know one. So the things that I allow myself to do in my life that I demonize, I use them as excuses not to do the things that I think I should do, because I say to myself things like, well, I'm not going to do that because I've done this, or that's not going to be right. I'm not going to be in the right frequency for that. But then I realized that literally I can step from one thing into another effortlessly, you know, and just make it as a matter of choice. But I was using these excuses, and that was things I was judging myself for. So it just put limitations on all of the other options, you know.
Yeah.
I could actually do both at once, and then once I did, then it's like, you know what, I'll just drop that and go over here.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. So every point of view that you have can be a limitation. And this is why it is so useful to actually destroy and uncreate, purify, clear, cleanse, whatever words you want to use, before you go to bed every night or when you wake up in the morning. Destroy and uncreate all your points of views. Or I'm going to use just the access clearing here. So let's just clear. Let's just all the conclusions, expectations, projections, points of views, opinions, personalized ideas that you have made in this lifetime, other lifetimes, dimensions, time streams, universes, galaxies. Can we now revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of them? You feel that energy? So all the oaths, vows, fealties, communities, commitments, contracts, binding, bonding that you have with any parts of yourself from this lifetime, other lifetimes, dimension, time streams, galaxies, universes that are still overshadowing the choices that you're making in this moment of the now, over and over again. Can we revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all those? And again, just perceive that energy. And all the oaths, vows, fealties, communities, commitments, contracts, binding, bonding that we have with ourselves, with all the parts of ourselves, with other people that we still connected to or no longer connected to, be they now dead or still alive or coming into the future. Can we now also just address all of those and actually free ourselves from any commitments there that does not serve the choices for us and for the greater good of this reality that we are about to create, that we're creating on a continuous basis? And everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate that? So what does that bring up for you? Let's make this a little facilitation here. What does that bring up for you guys?
A blank canvas.
The 0 point of the fetus in the mother's womb.
And what if we could start every day like that? And all we need to do
That's
is
it.
destroy and uncreate, whatever that is. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with all your I am, parts, shards, and avatars, your relationship with your children, with your husbands, with your business, with your body, because we are relating beings. We are in relationship with everything. And all that does is going to give you that blank canvas in the morning again. Okay, cool. Now, what are we going to create together? Because they're all going to be there again. And as you do this continuously, this is the commitment to yourself. And this is the commitment to others too. Because if you're not committing to yourself now, this has nothing to do with separation, then you will not be able to change the relationships that we need to change now, because the relationship as we have known it with anything is going to change, because it has to.
Mhm.
And it's tapping into that infinite potential. And who wouldn't want to do that?
And then it's a question, who or what can I now add to my life? And we're not asking from a place of, oh, I need to fix right now, because we do are in the present moment, and there's nothing more important. There's nothing more special at one moment right now. It's just the way it is. That the moment right now is the most important one in your life, because that is the next moment, because you're always just the moment. And who or what can you add to wonder from a place of curiosity, from a place of, wow.
It's getting sketchy.
MG, I think you disappeared.
Yes.
She's a goner.
She's-
Hey, I killed her.
Well, she
Anyway.
was a blank canvas, didn't she?
Laura, I was gonna tell you that.
You
Where is
cleared
she? She's
yourself.
gone.
I cleared you all out of my life.
Martina, you
There you are.
disappeared, man.
Yeah, you're back.
Disappeared. You're back.
You can start again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was my little impulse. Shut up, let others talk.
No, what I wanted to tell you, Martina, in addition earlier, that it's not really a revolution. It's not really like, oh, something new, because obviously I do it every day. You guys do. Well, I don't know what you do it every day, but I do my thing every day. Same as what you not with that thing, but do my stuff. But what I'm saying is when you take 100% responsibility, if everybody took 100% responsibility, everybody, the world would be a different pace. But what I want to share something with you is very important, and I do hope that obviously you are aware of it, hopefully, but there are other people who are not, and they will be watching this, is that what's going on at this moment. Remember that we jumped. So it's like, what's going on at the moment is they're trying to, what's that word? They're trying to herd us back into the herd. So yeah, back, But like Martina, Laura, Massey, we are aware, so we know. Hence, what I have listened to earlier, what you were talking about, that's what's happening. They say, oh, these people are aware. No. We want to put them back. So now, this is the month that we have to be very, very strong and even more step up the work that we do, the self-mastery. For me, I stepped into a realm, or because I do my quantum jumps, it pushed me so much forward that I cannot even express that. I won't talk about it now, but maybe later in the year I will be speaking about it, because it's incredible. And Laura, I remember what you said earlier, that I can't remember the word that you used, but I resonated with that. And it's now we have to be on our toes, because as I went out and I watched the worst news, because that's my responsibility that's there. If all we took responsibility what's going on in the world, this wouldn't be in the world. So I do a lot of stuff. And I did have somebody try, but I said, no, fuck off. And he stopped immediately. So now I'm at that point that no, boom, 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 boom. And that's why I got so emotional, because I'm proud of myself. And I'm proud of Laura and Martina and Mary and everything, because we are not saying, oh, this and this, but we say, okay, oh, I fucked up, or I did something, or I run over my phone. You know what I mean? It's like we're willing to be vulnerable. We're willing to say, okay, whatever happened, happened. Because we weren't like this before. And really, Martina, Laura, Mary, Matty, Dawn, Caroline, Amy, Lana, whoever is there. Remember when you were born, you are nothing. You are a nobody. You're nothing. You have a white canvas. And people forget we are nobodies. We are nothing. In a way, we are nothing. But what happened is we got programmed and now we try to get out of it. Of course, we are more aware, but that's what it is. It's just simple. Like, okay, I was nothing. They gave me a bunch of shit. Do I have to take it on? Not really. But not us, but some other people, they might not be aware of this. They think that the government and the health system is going to save them. That's not true. We know that is not true. So if we don't take responsibility, who will?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who will?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I think the thing, particularly what you said about your victories, I don't know, I wonder how many of you did. One had a fire, and it doesn't matter whether you did or not, but who looked at your victories? Who used any hindsight in this time of hibernation? Yeah,
I do it almost every month, victory ceremony.
Yeah,
almost every
but
month.
just particularly for this being a time of hibernation that we've been through with the winter solstice, and looking at our victories as well as our defeats, and actually, as we were saying earlier, feeling really good about ourselves for what we've achieved, what we've been through, because I'm sure everybody in this Zoom today has been through some stuff this year. As Martina said, we've been in the void and we've had so much going on in our personal lives. And just to actually look and list those victories, whether you do it with a fire or not, is so important just for our own self-esteem, just for moving forward, using that as a baseline. We've done that, we've achieved that. It really is a pat on the back. It's all part of the loving and nurturing of ourselves, isn't it?
This has been one of the best years of my life, Laura. Well, that's why I just said it was just the end part, I think, that just kind of fighted its way out, but the rest of it was fantastic. It's been such an exciting year. And, it's one of the best so far for me personally.
Yeah, I would say the same, Massey, actually. Yeah. I know 2020 is going to go down on record as being a really difficult year for people, but it has been a really interesting year for me. I have made a lot of big changes in my life and probably more to come, but it was a 9-year for me, numerologically speaking, and a 9-year is a number of completion. And there was a lot of things I completed, and I didn't even realize I was in a 9-year until I went into this 2021, which is 1 for me, a 1 year, which is a year for beginnings. But definitely, yes, I can see what you're saying about it being such a good year. It's just the gift of all the difficulties, to be honest. That's what it was for me. It was the gift in the difficulty that was good.
So I had that same thing, difficulties, but there were all these little gorgeous gifts and nuggets all intertwined in between it,
Yeah.
I also think this year's been, I've really enjoyed it, and I've achieved masses. I don't know whether it's because we've been locked down, but yeah, I found it a really good year.
We're living in a movie. It's brilliant.
Yes, it did take us out of what we considered the norm. And I suppose it threw us into something else that was unknown to us in some ways. And it was very exciting, I have to say, in the beginning. I just was so excited about the first lockdown. It's nearly not right to be saying something like that, but that is how I felt. I just thought, oh my God, all this time to do what I want. And I had so many plans, and I was going to achieve so much. And it's always the way I approach everything, with absolutely 2000% enthusiasm. And then it just begins to die down a bit. I begin to taper it back a bit and realize, well, maybe not quite that much, but it got, as the year went on, things started to slow down and go more and more inward, actually, at a very slow pace. It was a year that ended up very much for me standing in observation of the many parts of myself and observing how that has engaged with life, how that has got me through this year, and how that has got me to where I am today, and taking full responsibility, as Andrea was saying earlier, for all of it, for everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, and all the different parts and the different aspects, without judgment, just complete love and compassion and acceptance. That's how it was. That's how I was. And it was, there was something very freeing and empowering in it, actually. I wouldn't say I would, you know, would have thought, you know, I didn't sort of think it was right or wrong. It was more in observing. I had a very interesting dream too, one night, very short, but I was in a huge gathering. It was like a church. And this being came in and called out my name in the crowd. And it was the name that I had when I was born, not my married name. And I got up and I turned around and I walked out into an amazing sunshine with this particular individual. I don't know who it was. I don't even know if it was male or female. But there was some sense in it when I woke up, and the feeling of it as well in the dream was like a clarion call. It was like something came for me and I got up and I left. But it was good. It was all good. It didn't feel like I had ran away from something. It felt I had just changed direction, and it felt good.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
beautiful. Who's been, I'd like to know, who's been pushed out of their comfort zone and learnt something from it that's got something to share? Because that's a really big one at the moment, isn't it, Matty? Mary, you know, with being...
Oh, yeah, like I was going to say definitely me, but I don't want to keep on going here. But I think probably all of us, Laura, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, for me, I mean, can I tell a story? I'm aware that I've spoken a lot today.
Please.
I could tell the story of my stone here. And for me, I've had, for me, it was one of the biggest breakthroughs this year was that having trust in myself, just finally having complete trust and faith in myself. Because leading up to this, with all of these things and these different awareness that I have, there's always been a sense of protection, you know? And there's always been boogeymen outside to watch out for and things, you know? And this year that fell away. And the communications that I have with my galactic brothers and sisters, that took a whole new level. And I really had to come to a point of surrender. And so rather than keep protecting or asking certain questions and things, and there's just come a point where they were saying certain things. And I decided to just have faith and just go with it and just let all my defenses down and just go, you know? And that's when I got this stone. So I'll tell you this story. So there's a guy, he's from the Pleiades, he's a friend of mine, his name's Zitara, and he speaks to me a lot. And they were saying to me for a while, we're going to come and see you soon and we're bringing a friend or an old friend. They kept saying something like that. And, you know, and back then, it seems like a lifetime ago now, but back then that would be something quite suspicious for me. It's they're making a promise, you know, and even though I've met them before and things, you know, but you know, it was in the way that I communicate, it was having faith and trust in that process. And once I surrendered, I had a dream where I was in the back garden, or what I thought was a dream. I was in my back garden with my family, and there was mist everywhere, a dense mist. And then this blue orb just flew off up into the sky. And I remember saying, there they go, or something like this, or there's our friends, there's our boys, something like that. And this thing flew off. And then I remembered it in the morning, but then forgot about it. And I was doing the gardening. And as I went to turn the beds, there was this beautiful stone just sat on the top of my flower beds. And then I remembered the dream. And they actually left me a stone. I'm not going to say what it is or where it's from, but this was left to me by extraterrestrials.
Wow.
In the garden, and its potency is just incredible.
Oh, wow, that's fabulous, Matty.
Yeah, that's just one of the most beautiful things happened to me this year. So it's been tough, but there's been these just fabulous little gifts along the way, especially with regard just putting faith in my own process. And so, you know, now what it's uncovered ultimately is that if I am going to take the communications to the next level, I now have to learn a whole new set of skills. which is going to require a lot of effort on my part, you know? So that's what 2020 did. It gave me a taste of nuggets and a little bit of motivation. And now I know what needs to be done for 2021, but it's all about effort and application.
It's
Yeah.
interesting too that you said, Matty, it's been tough, but it's been great, is what you feel, is what I'm getting from you as well. And that's exactly how I would feel too. You know, there was an awful lot of aspects of it that were tough, but it was great. I couldn't say it wasn't great. In overall, it was great. And it's interesting that just when you said it there, completely resonated with me, Matty, because it's exactly how I would feel as well. And I do think it is all about effort and application as we go forward. I also think, as Laura was saying earlier about the victories, you know, I think we need to acknowledge now we've done an awful lot of hard work. We have done a lot. And I think as we go forward, it's moving forward in that knowingness and that acceptance. You know, I would be the type of person who would be addicted to doing courses. You know, I'd never be qualified enough. I'd have to be always doing more courses and another course and learn about this and do that. And I think we have the courses done. And that's not to say we don't have anything else to learn. Of course we do. But it's just to acknowledge all we have done as we go forward. I think that that's something that's important for me anyway, as I go forward into the new year.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
mate. Amy, did you want to share with us? You said you'd stepped out of your comfort zone. Have you gone back to it, or have you evolved from it?
Well, meeting you guys stepped me out of my comfort zone. Finding you guys stepped me out.
Oh, shit.
Me too. Me too. I've learned so much about myself from this Zoom.
We don't mess about, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to learn a new language. When I first came on, I just hopped on like, okay, let me see what this is about. Well, it's like a whole new language to learn, if you, so to speak. The revocations, the invocations, that's all new to me. I have difficulty still with writing them. But yeah, I don't know. It was a great year. Just like Mary said, it's a great year. And I've done a lot of crying. I'm gonna cry now.
That's
I don't know
okay.
why. I know.
Let it go, let it go.
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it, how the tears come up so easily? You gone, Amy?
She's gathering herself.
Yeah.
You know, it has been that year. I mean, look, every one of us has had some kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
it has
please.
been like that for all of us.
It's been amazing to have such a support group. And to
Yes.
be able to bring you guys together and be with you guys on a weekly basis, because, you know, yes, we know that change creates, you know, gets created in outside the comfort zone, but it's not so comfortable in this group either, you know. So we have actually, because we're all on a certain level and we take responsibility, but at the same time we know how to hold space. I wish to think.
Yes.
And this, I'm hoping, is that we're going to be able to continue in this year to hold space for each other. And to really, as far as I'm concerned, a good friend for me is not a friend who tells me what I need to hear, what I want to hear. It's a friend who tells me what I need to hear. That's a friend. Because, and also, and that's not stepping on the sovereignty of mine, you know, because, you know, somebody who knows when I fuck up, you tell me it's okay, I can handle it. I can listen to that. Because we're all on that level. And I do think that this coming year, as exciting as it's going to be, we really have to step it up. Like
100%.
Matty was
100%.
saying, you know, the spiritual authority that you were talking about, that you are the spiritual authority, you know, and you have to really, we are the ones in the fucking bodies. And not just once. We've done this so many times. There is nobody out there without a body at the moment that is better or worse or less than us. There's nobody out there that is less. We're all the same because we're so different. Every single one of us is a very unique, authentic piece of the puzzle. And that's, I think, what we need to look at is stay authentic. Not, go and blow your trumpet all the time and stuff like that, but just be who you are. Choose for you. You want to cry, you fucking cry. Who gives a shit? Yeah, you want to swear, you do that. Be who you are. Allow yourself to be authentic. Know what that means. And this emotion stuff, it's not going to go away at that level. It's going to get deeper, because once we are so open and we understand that we can handle all of that, we don't have to protect ourselves anymore. It's a different level of sovereignty now. It's almost like, yes, I can feel your pain, but I don't have to react to it. You can still feel the pain, and you will start feeling it more and more and more and more and more. You would have this awareness, oh God, what's going on? But you don't have to do anything with it. What if you can, a real master can sit there, see you struggling, and not interfere unless you're being asked? All this giving out advice to people, no more, unless you're being asked. And this is what I want to do in this group too. You ask a question, then there will be a possibility to be facilitated. We're not just dishing out, what we see, what's wrong or what's right or this or that, because at the end of the day, it's coming through our filters. If somebody asks a question, then you have permission. Otherwise, no. And I'm not excluding myself here. I still like whoosh in. No, can't do that anymore because it's going to backfire. What if you could perceive what's going on and you didn't have to fix it? You didn't have to provide a solution. That's the biggest thing for me. Always solution. No, unless you're being asked, unless you get paid for it, unless a friend asks you, yes. But if there's no question, there's nothing to say. It's just blah, blah, drama. Right?
Yeah, I agree, Martina, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000,000,000%. And that's what Ho'oponopono is all about. You say nothing.
And the discipline.
Yeah.
You hold space is what you do.
Hold space.
You hold space to allow that person to be.
Which will then allow that next level of compassion. Because compassion does not step on other people's sovereignty. It's just like, I see you.
There is no such thing as a perfect person. And that's the point of it. And when you stop striving for perfection, you don't expect it of yourself. When you don't expect it of yourself, you don't expect it of others. I'm not going to hold anybody accountable if they fuck up. I would just sit and just observe, and I'd love them the same way the whole way through it. You know what I mean? Unless it affects myself and a whole load of other people, and then they're stepping on sacred boundaries. But where it just comes to day-to-day things, that's the whole point of it. These are our guideposts. This is how we navigate our journey. Otherwise, what would be the point?
So becoming aware of that, what's going on in the seen and in the unseen, and not having to do anything about it. Unless it's something that you need to work on for yourself. And it's pattern recognition. All right. That's no longer judgment. It's pattern recognition. Yeah. I don't judge myself for blowing out, but there's a pattern there. I'm like, whoa, babes, I don't need to see you again. Back in the row, back into the line. I don't know she's there. And I'm like, okay, cool. But that's it. Pattern recognition, agendas, and not being defined. God, not defining yourself. This is me, this is my teaching. That's got nothing to do with being authentic. It's being flexible, having no definition. Do you know what I mean with that? What does that mean to you? I'm not defined as I'm a student of AB, I'm a student of Access. You know, you got to say these things because people have all these credit issues and stuff like that. But I choose it because it works for me. Yeah.
Then you find, Martina, that is when you start to master non-competition. Because the need to define ourselves as this, that, and the other, it's a hierarchical thing,
Absolutely, Massey. Yeah.
I had an amazing dream. I dreamt that I was looking after my boss's baby. And I had to change nappies the whole time. And then in the beginning it was all good, and then all of a sudden I started losing the nappies. And then I used paper for the baby. And then, because there were no nappies, and it's starting to get really heavy. And I thought, what is this? What is this? And then I woke up the next day and I felt really bad because I wasn't looking after this baby properly. I couldn't even change the nappy anymore. And then I lost interest. I think, what is wrong? Bitch. And then I realized, no. I was getting myself into something that wasn't my part. I didn't have to take on certain responsibilities that I did. And as I let those go, and that was the dream. The dream was, so every dream that you have now, look at what's the teaching there? What am I trying to tell myself here? And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to play with it. And, you choose whatever you choose at the end of the day. But, oh my God, my entire thing changed. Because I thought, no, I don't want another fucking baby. Jesus, no. This is what I was trying to tell myself through that symbolism in my dream.
Can I share a dream? Yeah.
Yeah, go, yeah.
Yeah, so this is my interpretation of it. Of course, AB appeared in my dream. He wasn't there. I didn't see him. He had his voice, and I couldn't even understand his language. I don't even know what he was saying, but there was this, I don't know what you would call it, but this person just kept coming in and interrupting. And he said to me, draw a picture of your parents' bedroom. That's how I took it, as this is how we're gonna communicate. And sorry, I drew the picture out. And I said, that was the point of my creation right there. I felt the egg and the sperm coming together. I'm sorry.
You have to apologize. It's beautiful.
It is. Yes. Wow.
Those kind of dreams. There are some that you have that you remember for the rest of your life. You don't even need to, write them down because they have such impact.
I don't know what it means yet, but it just feels like a new beginning. And that I don't have to judge that little girl again that I would judge. Because I judge her a lot for choosing what she chose.
And therefore the interruption that was coming in to try to stop you on your journey.
Yeah.
So it's only yourself, really.
Connecting to the earth.
Thank you.
Connecting to the earth is another one.
Yeah. And now it's felt like now I want to be here. And then I say, now I feel like, yeah, this is it. I want to be here now. Not that I really had feelings that I ever wanted to leave here, but it can be different. Yeah, so thank you guys.
I think everybody else must have felt the energy from that. Could you feel that energy coming off her?
Absolutely.
I'm like hot. It's like hot.
Yeah, it's masses of chi.
That's so beautiful, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing that. And your tears are here too.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's go back to the connection to Earth.
Can I say something? I don't want to. I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about me, but I'm sure everybody will get this. What you have to remember, guys, we are a hub of interconnectivity, right? And what you have to remember that we had last year, right? But I did. I'm not talking for you. I did took responsibility. I'm pretty sure most everybody's here. So that means we are not, when 2019 ended and 2020 started, where millions of people are, but we're already here in the now. Isn't that incredible? Like how freaking clever we are and how much high, and not hierarchy, but the level that we are. We are not, but a lot of people are there. They're still there. We are not. And a lot of people say, oh, 2020 was so bad. They're still talking about it. We're not. We are in the flow. We manifesting. That's the difference. So you should, I am very proud of myself, but if you did this, you should all be very proud because that's in itself a victory.
Yeah, I think that takes us back to Laura's question, what's your victory? And I think that's such a good question to ask, you know. And again, you know, questions we ask them not from a place of fixing, but from a place of what else is possible. How can we expand? What, you know, who or what can we bring into our lives? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's just summarize maybe a couple of the things that the key points for this. Let's every single one of us just say one key point for, not as a resolution as such, but as something they want to work on or with for this year. And I'm going to kick it off with, I would like to look at my being present, play with that, to stay present and not leave.
So for me, it's continue to take care of my body. That's the one thing I'm going to do. But all of the other things I'm doing, I'm going to start doing them differently.
Thank you. Just one thing for everyone, so everyone can say something, obviously, who wants to.
Just quickly, there was something about resistance when you said something about New Year's resolutions, and you were talking about judgment, how we're basically making a resolution the way that we used to is making a judgment about yourself, how now you're inadequate and you want to change that about yourself. So a resolution in that sense is about resistance to yourself. And on the contrary, what you're saying, your resolution now is to be in the moment. And I think that's the real focus of what I should do for myself as well is let go. It's the opposite of resistance. I'm a big, like a wall. I need to stop fighting against myself. That's mine.
Cool, thank you. Lana is saying, I want to learn more of the infinite and be more in the moment.
I just want to be a bit more kinder with myself, and also look at the way I relate to other people, or even with my dog, you know, like holding boundaries and things like that rather than being taken over. But it's a silly example, but it does really highlight what you do in relationships.
Sacred personal space.
I'm going to really practice listening. I love what Carolyn said about resistance. And over the holiday, I found out that for me, the opposite of how to let go. I've always been asking this for years, how to let go. I think I am, but I found out it's trust. So I just trust. I just fucking drop it and trust. And that is it. so that's what I'm doing.
It's like an anti-resolution, isn't it? You know, it's like a resolution to not have a resolution, but just know, you know.
Just
But
whatever.
that takes so much courage.
It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to make anything happen. I'm just going to be letting go and trusting. That's it.
That's
Brilliant.
Yeah, I could just, totally agree with that. That's my way forward, having lived out my comfort zone more than I've ever done for the last over 6 months now. It's like, okay, universe, I'm in full allowance, just work through me. Let's just go out there, out-create all the other crap. Let's just have fun. This is going to be an exceptional year. You do the groundwork, you do your twice a day prayer, you do your spiritual agenda, you do that. And what comes back to you is just going to be so much more. And that's what I'm looking forward to, much more working with the mystical, working with the unseen, working with the magic that's out there. Because I'm looking forward, having gone through this huge shift for me, is working with my authentic self, actually knowing my authentic self, that's learning to live without undermining, without someone's projections, without feeling inadequate. And that's dancing on my victories, I tell you. So that's going to be my year.
Gabe is saying,
think-
sorry,
I was just going to say, for me, I think I'm going to be working on a kind of a fine line between allowance and when to take action. I have found myself I've gone into that place actually already before the new year ever arrived. And I want to find out more about that in me, because that's quite an interesting place. So that's what I would like to continue with. But I know I will. I don't even have to, to put it out there as if I'm going to need to say that or anything. It's just something that's going to happen, because it's a space I've gone into that I know I won't come out of until I learn whatever it is I need to learn in it. So it's an interesting place. That's all I can tell you.
very cool. We've got Gabe saying here, I will work on consistent sacred discipline. So it's all of those resolutions, we can just put them into the question. What is it going to take for me to work on my consistent sacred discipline? What's it going to take for me to stay present?
Effort.
And not trying to find the answer, but just keep on asking the question and allow the mystical to bring you the various answers. Because remember, every answer is a conclusion, is a limitation again.
Well, how about bring you the various opportunities, the endless potential?
Yeah.
It's like an intention, isn't it? And watching to see what will flow as a result of the intention.
But I don't think one can just sit back and wait for anything to happen. There has to be some volition.
No action. No. It's got to be action. Action. Lots of action. Lots of doing this year. Lots of that.
Yeah.
But the one doesn't exclude the other. This is the thing, the discipline and the action and the commitment and the mystical go hand in hand.
And then the letting go and surrendering.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the joy, the sheer joy of it all, the sheer joy of the experience that we're here now in these bodies.
Yeah.
Wow. We chose to be here at this time. And it's such an amazing time. And I know we don't all feel that now. And I understand that, but it's there, it's not out of reach. It's just something that needs to be uncovered, isn't it? Peeled back, and you find it, the mystical, the magical, wanting to co-create with you, wanting to show, the new earth is there. It's there for us.
Oh.
I mean, just imagine I don't know how long this COVID thing's going to go on for, another year, 2, 3, who knows? But I'll tell you what, when they let us out, when it's all done and dusted with, I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like, oh, let's go, We're going to be hitting all the sacred sites, and
That's where it's party time.
we'll have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced, and we'll be released back into the world. These,
And in a way, Massey, hasn't it driven us into the sacred site, which is ourselves?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we can't get out there to them anymore. So it has definitely driven us into the richness and the ancientness and the wisdom of that's within.
And the peace that is in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all right just to sit on the beach and watch the waves,
Do you know what my guides have said to me this year? They said the most important thing is silence. They said wherever it is that you're looking for, it's the silence where you'll find it.
I know.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. But anyway.
Yeah.
There's a part of us, that knows all of this. I love that it's our heart, is it? It's that part that is past, present and future that holds everything. And they're not really secrets because they're just there for us to discover. But I've never really been able to put my finger on what it is, but it's part of that magic that we all hold inside, and that just through the layers of conditioning and the way life is, it gets covered up and we forget it's there. And I'm sure all of you have found it and touched it and felt it, and you feel it in moments of joy. So I do think we owe it to ourselves to try and co-create some joy in our life, even if it's doing something simple like knitting. It doesn't really matter what it is, something that brings you joy. And then when you step into that joy zone, then you're looking at how you're going to co-create and move forward, because you can do so much with joy, can't you? You can do so much in that joyous space.
So the first thing I did when I woke up this morning, Laura, was watch stand-up comedy. So I got up really early and I couldn't make much noise. There was things to be done, but I had to, all the kids were in bed. And so I just watched outrageous to stand-up comedy as well, and to hold down the laughter while I sit down. It was just the best way to start my day. I think that might be a part of my regular process this year.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I know. I watched for a week, and that's all I did. Stand-up comedy, belly laughs, so many. Oh my God, it's hilarious. But Laura, thank you for what you said. I wanted to say that the way the world is, the big companies are like, okay, you have to do this in order to create profits or in order to create money or whatever it is. This is how we were growing up. This is what we saw, blah, blah, blah. So for me now, when I create something for me. And that has to be a level of awareness, not just awakening, but awareness of the self-mastery, that when you create something, when I create something, I create it for me, so I enjoy myself. But of course, if we can get into the old pattern, saying, oh, I have to, because that's what we were programmed into, it has to be this way. It's not true. And we are the ones to show other people whether they choose it, or should they choose, should they choose it, not to step on that thing, that in a way that you don't have to say nothing like Martina said, but when I choose to create that way, that's an energy that goes out and brings the people who create that way. And eventually, like Matt said, when we come out of this COVID, then you build up on all your signature frequencies or so, or whatever you want to call it. And then you end up with your tribe. I'm creating my sacred tribe. And you're all part of my sacred tribe. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Do you know what, Andrea? I love that. And what you said, we have to show people. The only thing I'd say there for me is I just want to show myself.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant by showing me, by being it. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yes, being it.
Myself. Yeah, I was correcting. by being it myself. That's what I mean, showing it, not showing it doesn't, you must do this.
Yeah.
No. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Totally. When you are that, there's no agenda there to try and imprint that or step on anyone's journey, is there? There's no intention of, it's almost not involving anybody else. It's just
exactly.
you're getting yourself to a level of joy that gives you this lovely, you can call it a high vibration, frequency, whatever you want to. But when you're in joy, that's what helps the world, isn't it? That's what changes things. And
That's
you're not doing it for that. You're doing it because
For
quite
you,
honestly, being in joy makes you feel good.
Yeah,
No?
for you. But what I'm saying is, I can, and other people can, just like, you can have this moment of, okay, cool, recognizing it back into, like you can have that wobble, you can have that thing. Now, what's happening now? I am, working every day, a lot of stuff. I can tell you that, but it kicks me. Okay, a lot of things already is happening, but I will share later in the year because it's just a bit. I have to process stuff as well.
Another thing I would like to add here is, when you start not to take things personal anymore.
Yeah.
This is it.
Like it just doesn't touch you. It's like, okay, interesting point of view. Interesting.
So Martina, can I add to that? Because the thing is, what we're going to find over this next year, and we're already finding it now, is you can see that everybody takes this situation differently. And everybody's got such strong opinions over our current situation, And if you're going out in the street and you're getting triggered by people that don't see things your way, then it's just exposing that within you, And it really is, like the Inner Earth guys were saying, it's about meeting these differences that we have with peace, Because, there is no trying to tell anybody anything, in my opinion, especially with this situation. You just have to make sure that you don't project and that you're away from the projection of others, but that comes naturally with the journey. This is it. We have to make peace with the way that other people see things, because it's only the way that we see things that matters. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's almost like, and this is quite an uncomfortable space again, because it's almost like, oh shit, I've got nothing to say anymore. Well, it's like, right, where's my passion gone, right? That's a good sign, right? Because as soon as you then start to talk to certain other people, all of a sudden, oh, there it is. I haven't had that for some time. And I think I've always liked this fortification of your reality. I think, I like, instead of saying resolution, I like to call it fortifying my reality. What is my reality going to be like that is fun for me, that is joyful, that I can contribute to others, share with others, where everything is just ease. And I'm not saying easy, I'm saying ease. There might be a point of view, and then you change it, and then it doesn't mean that we all have to think the same way. Absolutely not. And most importantly, one thing for me is also watch out not stepping into a pile of dog shit. Watch out where you're going, because it's going to be so easy to drip yourself up again. It's going to be so easy. It's a bit like, watching not to step in the next pile of dog shit. And dog shit for one might not be so bad for the other. Just watch out where you're walking. That is part of that discipline, for me anyway. What else have we got? We are pretty much doing okay. If there's anything pressing, does anyone still want to say something before we're gonna call it an evening or a morning?
I'm busting for a pee anyway.
Busting for a pee, all right.
I'm starving, Martin. I haven't eaten all day. I had a shake. I'm hungry.
Good. Well, you go and eat. Stay in the moment. Timeless quality to 21. Lovelies. Stay in the now. Stay out of judgment. Work smarter, not harder. Reality fortification, stay out of the poo. Be aware of the energy, what's going on, go with the flow. Watch out for that sacred neutral. Don't allow the sacred neutral, that allowance to be actually you getting out of the body. Yeah, watch out for that. You'll be shifting levels of awareness, like you're going to be there, you're going to be here, you're going to be there, you're going to be here, and it's okay. Allow yourself to be emotional. Allow everything. Just don't linger in it. Don't stay there. Don't judge it. Look for pattern recognitions, agendas, acknowledge them. Interesting point of view. Redefine relationships with yourself, with your significant others, with your body, with your business, with God knows what. Connecting to the earth more than ever, more than ever. And spiritual authority. You are the spiritual authority, because more and more of us will be starting to have all these communications, or, you know, starting to understand more the intangible realm coming in. You are still the authority. Discernment, big time discernment coming back in on a much more advanced level. Love you all. Thanks for being here.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.
You all. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.